Greetings, fellow captains, and welcome back to another episode of World Warships Legends with a Hive Hand. Just got home from work, just decided, right, okay, let's have a quick look at this new Azur lane content drop in the latest update. And yeah, it's official, ladies and gentlemen, pay to win. It's actually here. It has arrived. Anyone who's watched my content will know I'm quite lenient, and I hold very little argument for, pay to win. People saying like premium ships are pay to win. There's a few that are edging on the more powerful side, but nothing that's really particularly stand out. The only thing I could argue is you can buy commander crates, and having like 16-4 commanders is a big advantage over people that have got like level 12 commanders that haven't got the legendary buffs. But we can argue about that in the comments, and please do feel free to drop any comments below about any of the busted pay to win things that you've seen, and maybe we'll turn it into a much bigger video. But for now, I want to focus specifically on the Azur lane content. Right, okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the Cheshire. It is a premium cruiser that you had to buy with your hard-earned doubloons. This is Azur lane Cheshire, which you can now buy with your hard-earned doubloons. So initially, from the outset, nothing much looks particularly different. I believe there's a bit of purple on the gun barrels. There's some little purple highlights and some paw prints around the place that you wouldn't normally see. But other than that, from the outside, like, let's be honest, nothing seems to be majorly different. But sad case of the matter is, there are some exceptional differences between the Azur lane Cheshire and the regular Cheshire. So first things first, I have obviously matched the builds on the two ships, so everything is exactly the same. So if we look at the artillery, Cheshire fires in 16 seconds, has 3850 maximum HE shell damage and 5750 maximum AP damage. Right, okay, so let's have a look at Azur lane Cheshire and see what the difference is when it comes to the guns. So you've got the same guns, but a 14.5 second reload. Your maximum HE shell damage is dropped from 3500 to 2, and your AP shell damage is increased to 5900. Noting the fire chance stays exactly the same. So, what does this mean? How does this calculate out? Right, so essentially, because of the reload buff, Azur lane Cheshire actually has higher HE DPM. It's only by 100, but you have to remember you also get to fire more salvos throughout the game, which means you've got an increased fire chance, because there's no nerf to the fire chance. So basically, it's just giving it a much better chance of causing fire. Damage wise, it's not really anything sort of majorly significant until you look at the 15k buff to the maximum AP shell damage. Taking into account, right, that Azur lane Cheshire has 235mm guns, which means at tier 6, and in all fairness, most tier 7 cruisers which have 16mm of armour on the bow and the stern, AL Cheshire is one of the, if not the only cruiser, I might be corrected, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the only cruiser that can actually overmatch 16mm of armour, which gives you a big advantage over cruisers. Now, this is normally balanced by things such as the Cheshire also having a 16mm bow, so it can only bounce 228mm guns. So it can auto bounce the American 203s, fair enough, but anything bigger than the 203s, you're sailing through the nose of the Cheshire. But the Azur lane Cheshire, ladies and gentlemen, I've got to laugh, is slightly different. Yes, that's where we are. Look, that's a slightly different colour. Yes, that is in fact 25mm bow and stern. So a 25mm bow and stern can auto bounce. What is it? 357 millimeters of guns. So basically anything below 15 inch. So any of your French battleships, you can just bow tank them, and there's nothing they can do about it. Any cruisers, just bow tank them. There's nothing they can do about it. These are things you had to show a bit more concern about with the original Cheshire. But yes, you've got more damage output, greater chance of causing fire, and you've also got more armour than the Cheshire that you had to pay for. So I'd like to confirm that that this is actually a bit cracked. I'll be honest with you, we'll move on to the next ship. I don't wanna loiter around too much. And we've got the AL Sovetskaya, which is basically the Sovetskaya. It's the Azur Lane version. So to be honest with you, I don't care about Russian battleships. I couldn't be bothered to spend more than 10 minutes looking at the stats. I couldn't even be bothered to spend more than 15 seconds looking at the stats, if I'm entirely honest about it. But I did notice a major buff. 180 degree turret traverse, 17.1 seconds on the Azur Lane version. Standard version, same build, is 24. Yes, I can put more modules on, but I haven't added the modules. I don't like Russian battleships, so I tend not to particularly play them that much. So I wasn't going to waste any credits adjusting anything. I had a quick look. The armour appears to all be the same, but please, once again, if you notice any major differences, let me know in the comments down below, because yeah, I can't essentially be bothered to spend any more of my time looking at a Russian ship that I'm never going to pay any attention to. So, moving swiftly on, they've also introduced the Azur Lane Zara. Now, Zara is a slightly different situation here. Zara is a tech tree ship, and the Azur Lane Zara obviously being a premium ship. Now, basically, it gets very similar treatment to the Cheshire, whereas it has a increased or reduced reload and reduction in shell damage, with basically it's got a higher DPM. So the armor piercing DPM is the HE DPM, sorry, is 8k more, and the AP damage is almost 30k more. When you compare the ships. So hang on, have I been a plum and not paid attention to sap? Oh right, yeah, no, the sap damage is almost 30k more. So you look, AL Zara 12.9 second reload, sap damage goes up to 5200, AP damage is 4400. So yeah, I made a slight miscalculation there, apologies. And then we look at the Zara, 14.7 second reload, AP shell damage is 4800, but the sap is only 5050. So yeah, basically you get a massive buff to damage on the Zara. There is one minor difference as well, I noticed. Armour and everything all looks the same. Maneuverability, you've got 35.6 knots on the Zara, 580 turn circle, 3.5 second rudder shift with my build, whereas the AL Zara does 34.6 knots, so a huge 1 knot nerf to help balance out all that additional damage that you can now cause. Right, okay, so I thought maybe the bustedness has stopped there. No, ladies and gentlemen, no it has not. Let me introduce you to the new Azur Lane commanders that have also just dropped. Right, where is it? Azur Lane, Colorado. Right, okay, so essentially you've got basically a William Sims-esque commander here. Base trait, main battleship reload time 3.5%, battleship main battery shell grouping plus 3.5%. Fairly reasonable, fairly good basic sort of sniper build. I believe you usually pick that up by adding like Charles Madden, but basically you don't need Charles Madden on Colorado because Colorado has Charles Madden built in. A flammable cannoneer, gyrating drill bits, marksman, all the typical sniper buildy stuff, and also you get courageous shelling. So main battery reload after your first shot of the battle and every third following shot, minus up to 25%. Right, okay, so you think, oh yeah, but it's only every third shot. It's not that bad. But when you add that to its base trait of minus 3.5% to your reload, you've already got 12.5% overall buff to your reload on your ship, with no real negatives besides slightly less HP over sims, and you'd lose the reaching out for a 4% range to get that additional reload. But you compare Colorado up with Madden and Paulo de Revel for a total of 21% buff to your reload, which essentially means a 21% increase to your total damage. So yeah, this commander gives you 12.5% buff to your reload without having to take any like brawler perks or any perks that are going to negatively affect your build in any way, shape or form. Which honestly, I think that's a little bit busted. I don't think that's fair. When you compare it to where is William Sims? Yeah, here's William Sims. So if you lose the 300 or 400 hit points per ship tier to gain a faster reload and better shell grouping. Don't forget the better shell grouping. You can essentially run the exactly same build, and instead of taking reaching out, which is plus 4% range, it's only plus 3 because I've only maxed him out on legendary. You can get essentially another 8% buff to your reload. So yeah, it's compared to the free commanders, I think that's a bit cracked. That's a bit busted. Then we'll move on to Azur Belfast. Not Belfast. What am I talking about? Azur Cheshire. There we go. There we go for all the anime titty lovers out there. Right, okay. So Azur Cheshire comes with Grin and Fire. So she buffs your reload time by 3%. Also increases your incoming damage to your citadel by 7%. Looking at the overall perks, right, okay, essentially closest commander I could think of to her was Bruce Fraser. So you can pick beyond range. Like, nobody picks beyond range on British cruisers. It's pointless. But you go for Piercer, you go for Punch Through, you go for Fixated, you take Fully Packed, and I would normally run Before It's Too Late. Before It's Too Late is actually what I run at Bruce Fraser, but instead you can take Bounce Right Back. Minimum ricochet angles for shells that hit your cruiser, minus 7 degrees. Guaranteed ricochet angles that hit your cruiser, minus 7 degrees. So not only does the AL Cheshire have better armor, you can actually increase the minimum ricochet and guaranteed ricochet angles against your ship, basically giving you a very tanky, honestly, I probably wouldn't run this on the Cheshire myself. I think this might actually get buffed and replace Bruce Fraser. So let me show you the difference. So obviously my Bruce Fraser is maxed out, and this is what I go for. This is an outright damage choice. So AP minimum, I take Yamamoto and Von Essen. So I'm going to lose 3% movement speed. I'm not terribly bothered about that for an additional 3% increase to my reload, right? But Piercer is what we're going to run. Instead of running Before It's Too Late, we run the increased ricochet angles, Punch Through, Fixated, Fully Packed. So not only will I'll lose 3% of my movement speed, I'll get a 7% reduction to my citadel damage, right? A 3% increase to my gun reload, and then also I'll be able to bounce more shells instead of taking Before It's Too Late, which just minorly changes the torpedo detectability range because Igniter I don't use. This would be a light cruiser build, by the way, and home run is kind of pointless. If you can't hit it within 10 kilometers, hitting something within 11 kilometers is no big deal, is no deal breaker. I'm annoyed because I'm going to have to spend extensive amounts of resources upgrading Azur in Cheshire to swap out Bruce Fraser, but I think that is definitely something that I am going to be doing, because I am fortunately blessed with being a CC, so I have been given all of these. Right, okay, so then let's look over to Azur Rossiya. Right, so to be honest with you, again, I don't really play Russian battleships. So I'm really struggling to put any kind of care or patience into this, but just looking at the skills and understanding the game, you kind of know that this is kind of a bit cracked. So not only could you get a 6% reduction of fire chance, but a 4% reduced detectability range on your battleships with the base perk. You can run Brawler, you can run Dance with Death, or On Second Thoughts, or Crisscross, as you would. Take Master Mechanic, which is, to be honest with you, the only real smart move to take there. And then basically you add Battle Cry. Battle Cry, minimum ricochet angle of your battleship's AP up to plus 5 degrees, so basically gives you 5 degrees better penetration over what you'd normally bounce. Same thing for the guaranteed, but you also deal 10% additional Citadel strike damage, and of course you can do the running with scissors, 5-5 with fire, will to rebuild, whatever you would as normal. If we compare that to like Lev Gallia, Lev Gallia is the sniper guy. Is it Mikhail Kedrov? Yeah, Kedrov. He's like the brawler version. So he has Brawler. You've got Crisscross or Porcupine. There's no point in taking Porcupine. Crisscross is only real sort of viable one there. You've got Kleber, Volunteer or Firefighter. That's the same. Properly Meticulous. What are you going to take? Properly Meticulous or Battle Cry? Like, come on. Like, you've basically got to go with Master Mechanic out of all those perks. So yeah, again, a little bit busted. And then, last but not least, it's Azur Zara. So base trait, Audacious Challenger. Cruiser sap damage plus 5%. So not only has the Azur Zara got better DPM anyway, in your sap you get an additional 5%. You've got the choice, burn it down, obviously that's kind of pointless now, so you go with Beyond Range. You've got the Address Interpretude, whatever the hell that means. Incoming damage from your cruiser's main guns whilst firing them within 5 seconds of reloading, plus 8%. So that's an additional 8% damage, of course, along with your usual Zara, a usual cruiser sort of commander skills. So yeah, like when we compare this to who's a decent, is it Chino? No, Mimbelli's a cruiser guy. So yeah, you can have Piercer, full speed ahead, which, to be honest with you, full speed ahead is fairly beneficial. You don't get that option. Actually, Mimbelli's like my full-on speed guy. Is that the right guy to be going with to compare? I don't really play them all that much. Here we go. Camponi seems to be a fairly solid cruiser commander. So you've got Burn It Down, Contact is Imminent, no fly zone. Look at me now, Crisscross, or before, he's going to be a all-weather commander. They're battleships. Sansonetti, maybe? Oh, here we go, Sansonetti is a cruiser guy, I think. Maybe. I could pretend. Yes, he is. Right, so yeah, you've got Beyond Range. You've got a home run, like Italian torpedoes are crap. Why would you take them? Ignite, you run in sap now. you don't have HE, so it's absolutely pointless skill. There is subtle manipulation, which does give you 8% to shell damage, the same as Azur, but you don't get the additional 5%. You get incoming damage from incoming damage for cruisers reduction, steer clear or fixated. Like, I always struggle with builds for Italians because there's, you've got your speed master there, kind of jack of all trades, and you're not really given all that many good options. Whereas, with Zara, this is very like sap focused. You got sap focused. Go for beyond range, obviously. The audacious intrepitude, or whatever the hell that is. You can actually still hybrid it a bit. You've got a choice between Velocious, Sponge, or Fortified, Steer Clear, or Fixated, and then of course Fully Packed or Refill Station as well. So yeah, she's a very, instead of you've either got a choice, you're either damage or you're either kitey. Like, this actually gives you the only viable sort of hybrid style build if you don't particularly want to focus just on speed, for example. So right, I've rabbited on far too long. That's 21 minutes already. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to argue about any of this, please feel free, jump in the comments. I will be paying attention to it over the next couple of days, and of course, until next time, take care.